Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Brajajanaranjana Yashodanandana Brajajanaranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Jai Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jai Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Brajajanaranjana Yashodanandana Brajajanaranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Hare Bolo, Krishna Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jai Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Gaur Pivanandi Jayam Vishwapada Paramahamsa Pri Vrajagacharya Stotra Satta Sri Srimad His Divine Grace Srila Bhai Charan Arvind Bhakti Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Skand Bibiti Founder Charya Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada ki Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki Harinam Sankirtan ki Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki Dainitai Gauda Pimanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Sri Guru and to Sri Gauranga, all glories to Sri Prabhupada ki. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Takshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Bandeham Sri Guru Sri Juta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavam Scham Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatan Vitam Tvam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakan Vitam Sham Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kansana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sutidevi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpa Tarubhyasya Kripa Sindhu Vyaivacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narotamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayat. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is a very means of conquest, let us first offer our respectful obeisances unto Narayana, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, unto Narayana Rishi, the supremmost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta prayesha badreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati tamasloke bhaktir bhavati naistiki. By regularly hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam and by rendering service unto the pure devotee, all that is troublesome within the heart becomes destroyed or practically to nil, and loving devotional service unto the Supreme Lord, who is praised with transcendental songs, becomes established as an irrevocable fact. Idam Bhagavatam Nama Puranam Brahma Samhitam Uttama Shloka Charitam Chakara Bhagavan Rishi Nishreya Sayalokasya Dhanyam Swasyayanam Mahat. This Srimad Bhagavatam, known as the Granthara, as the king of all Vedic literatures, is the literary incarnation of God. It is compiled by the incarnation of God as Srila Vyasadeva. It is meant for the ultimate good of all people. It is all successful, all blissful, and all perfect. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Sarabhyaya Namaha. Om Sarabhyaya Namaha. Om Sarabhyaya Namaha. Mukham karoti vasaram pavum langayate girim yat kripat maham bande Sri Gurum Dinataranam. Yat kripat maham bande Sri Gurum Dinataranam. Hare Krishna. Welcome everyone to the morning Bhagavatam class. We are reading from Canto number 3, chapter 20, text 1-3, huh? Okay. rajaḥ-pradhānān mahatas tri-liṅgo daiva-coditāt jātaḥ sasarja bhūtādir viyad-ādīni pañcaśaḥ rajaḥ-pradhānān mahatas tri-liṅgo daiva-coditāt jātaḥ sasarja bhūtādir viyad-ādīni pañcaśaḥ rajaḥ-pradhānān mahatas tri-liṅgo daiva-coditāt jātaḥ sasarja bhūtādir viyad-ādīni pañcaśaḥ rajaḥ-pradhānān mahatas tri-liṅgo daiva-coditāt jātaḥ sasarja bhūtādir viyad-ādīni pañcaśaḥ. Ladies, rajaḥ-pradhānāt, in which the element of rajas or passion predominates. Mahataḥ, from the mahat-tattva. Tri-liṅgaḥ, of three kinds. Daiva-coditāt, impelled by superior authority. Jātaḥ, was born. Sasarja, evolved. Bhūta-ādiḥ, the false ego. Origin of the material elements. Viyat, the ether. Ādīni, beginning with. Pañcaśaḥ, in groups of 5. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace H.H Bhakti Swami, Srila Prabhupada ki. As impelled by the destiny of the jīva, the false ego, which is of three kinds, evolved from the mahat-tattva, in which the element of rajas predominates. From the ego, in turn, evolved many groups of 5 principles. Kindly repeat after me. As impelled by the destiny of the jīva, the false ego, which is of 3 kinds, evolved from the mahat-tattva, in which the element of rajas predominates. From the ego, in turn, evolved many groups of 5 principles. Purport. The primordial matter, or prakriti, material nature, consisting of three modes, generates four groups of five. The first group is called elementary and consists of earth, water, fire, air, and ether. The second group of five is called tanmatra, referring to the subtle elements, sense objects, sound, touch, form, taste, and smell. The third group is the five sense organs for acquiring knowledge: eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and skin. The fourth group is the five working senses: speech, hands, feet, anus, and genitals. Some say that there are five groups of five. One group is the sense objects, one is the five elements, one is the five sense organs for acquiring knowledge, another is the senses for working, and the fifth group is the five deities who control these divisions. Translation again. As impelled by the destiny of the jīva, the false ego, which is of three kinds, evolved from the mahat-tattva, in which the element of rajas predominates. From the ego, in turn, evolved many groups of five principles. So this is ongoing conversation between two great personalities, Maitreya and Vidura. We see many similar exchanges taking place throughout the Bhagavatam. Great personalities engaged in question and answers. The subject matter here, of course, is dealing with how this material cosmic manifestation is taking place. And in different sections of the Bhagavatam, actually we see quite detailed information being shared here by Maitreya. And of course it's all connected with, this was explained in the previous verses, the element of daiva. Daiva is translated in different ways. Prabhupada translates it, I believe, in this context in terms of destiny. Daiva, sometimes we know it as divine. Daiva netrena. All living entities, the vast majority of living entities who come to this material world are under this very stringent law of nature called destiny. And we all acquire based on the most subtle. What is the most subtle element? Material element? Ego. Here there is reference of ego, 3 kinds of ego. All of us in the material world, we are, until we become fully Krishna conscious, we are under the influence of one of these 3 types of ego. Either ego in the mode of goodness, ego in the mode of passion, or ego in the mode of ignorance. In Kali Yuga, there is predominance of the mode of ignorance. And the whole Vedic system is to actually gradually elevate the conditioned soul. We are conditioned by this false ego, which means basically false identification. And according to so many different subtle material desires, which are manufactured, which are created from the mind. What are the 3 activities of the mind? Thinking, feeling, and willing. And therefore, the conditioned soul is described in Shastra as being nitya baddha, eternally conditioned, seemingly eternally conditioned by these 3 modes of material nature. And it is extremely difficult to actually become freed from this very heavy influence of these modes of material nature. Sankhya philosophy deals actually with the topic in the Vedic sciences. There are Vedic sciences. I mean, whole Vedic knowledge is a science in itself, but there are divisions of the Vedic sciences. And it is within the first of these 4 divisions that is called anvikshiki, which can be translated as the science of knowledge, or the science rather of philosophy. Science of philosophy, the first of these, within that science of philosophy or in Vikshiki, there is Sankhya philosophy. And within Sankhya we find the description of these 24 elements. Means the subject matter of the Bhagavatam and the subject matter of the material energy is a very involved subject matter. And Srila Prabhupada was very much eager, even before he began to write the Srimad Bhagavatam, and I'm supposed to speak on this little book here today. It's part of ongoing, I guess, exposure, or Prabhupada wrote this small book. How many have read this book? Thank you. Easy Journey to Other Planets. Prabhupada was very anxious to especially bring this knowledge to the, what we call the intelligentsia, to the intellectual class. As a matter of fact, when he wrote this book, A Journey to Other Planets, in the preface, he mentions how this is like dedicated to the scientists of the world, because scientists, they make so many decisions. They're very influential people. So the subject matter of the Srimad Bhagavatam goes very deeply, both in terms of describing the material world, the material energy. We're getting a little glimpse here. And of course, you know, Prabhupada also appreciated later on another book written by one of his prominent disciples, Bhakti Sarup Damodar Maharaj. life comes from life, not as commonly understood, or rather misunderstood, that life comes from matter. So the subject matter both of the material world as well as the spiritual world, it begins from what is more subtle, just like in describing the different elements of the material world. Things originate from the ether, just like of the 5 elements: earth, water, fire, air, ether. And ether is connected with sound. Sound is connected with the ears. So there's a whole procedure and process by which from what is more subtle gradually comes down to what is more gross. And of course, matter, earth, not matter, earth. Earth is the grossest of the material elements. So of all the senses, in terms of the eyes, which are meant to see, the tongue, which is meant to taste, the nose, which is meant to smell, the ear, which is meant to hear, of all of those, actually the ear is considered the most important. And actually, scientifically, it is also established. When somebody, doctors will know, those who have medical background, if somebody goes in a coma, although externally all of his sense organs are inactive, but the hearing, one is still able to hear. I remember many years ago in our temple in Montreal, we suddenly got one fine day a call from the hospital, and they were telling, one of your people is here, is about to die. He was not a full-time devotee, but they knew somehow he was connected. He used to come every day. So I was in Montreal at the time, but somehow I could not go or didn't go. Devotees were relating that when they got to the hospital, this devotee was completely unconscious, in coma, and the devotees were kind of like whispering to one another, beside, and the nurse told them, you don't have to whisper, he can hear everything you say. He's still conscious. So that's why in our devotional practice also, Sravanam, hearing, Sravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, hearing is highlighted in so many places in the Bhagavatam also. Srinvatam Swakatha Krishna Punya Sravana Kirtana Rejantasto Yabadrani Vidunoti Saritsatam. Simply by hearing, Prabhupada used the term, by giving oral reception to transcendental subject matters, then this will gradually cleanse all of the abhadras, all of the unwanted impurities that are accumulated. Why they are accumulated over many lifetimes? Due to this presence of the false ego. As long as we are connected with this false ego, and that's why what nourishes the false ego? All of the different sense organs, all of the different activities which are on the bodily or mental platform, they nourish, they further strengthen this false ego, which in turn, of course, prevents us from coming out of the whole material world in which we are finding ourselves. So the Bhagavatam is therefore in various sections of the Bhagavatam giving us very detailed information of the what we call both, they call micro and macro nature, right? Very, very small, very much in detail, and of course of the whole cosmic, manifestation as well. Okay. They put the light, I mean, the clock is there, but it's under one light. That's okay. So, thank you. Let there be light, sometimes let there not be light. Because I can actually see without the light. So this Prabhupada, as we know, before starting to write his Srimad Bhagavatam, which we are fortunate to be hearing and studying on a daily basis, Srila Prabhupada has started to write, well, he started with his Back to Godhead magazine. He was writing articles. He was writing, essays as well. In 1956, he wrote the important essay called Gita Nagari. How many have read Gita Nagari? I always ask that. How many know about Gita Nagari? God. And who else? Who has heard about Gita Nagari? Okay, thank you. Well, I guess I still have to continue asking that question until more people will eventually raise their hands. The essay of Gita Nagari appeared in 1956. I refer to this particular writing because in many of his writings, including this one, The Easy Journey to Other Planets, Prabhupada was giving us information that later on he of course included throughout the whole Srimad Bhagavatam. The point I wanted to make was that in the early days when Prabhupada was writing articles in his Back to Godhead magazine, Prabhupada relates this incident. One fine day, one person happened to speak to him, and he must have been telling that, you write very nicely, you write nice essays or articles, but it will be more beneficial, something to that effect, it will be more beneficial for your audience. If you really want what you have to say to stay for a long time and to go far, you should write books. And Prabhupada started to write small books, and then, from small books, he ended up writing big books. I mean, the whole Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, which are now classics, within our ISKCON society, and it is on the basis of those big books, actually, that the library party, when they would be traveling to different places, I mean, in 1974, when I was a new devotee, we had the first sannyasi, the one and only sannyasi. No, two sannyasis came, only two sannyasis. The first sannyasi to come to our temple was Satsvarup Maharaj, because he was part of the traveling party. And because of the traveling party, for those who may be less familiar, Srila Prabhupada, even before his books were printed, through so many devotees, including, one of the foremost, His Holiness Satsvarup Maharaj, they would go to the different, libraries, meet the librarians. Librarians are, a good librarian is somebody who wants to have new books. His life and soul are books, because he's a librarian. And so they would make these very nice brochures and with photos of books that were still not yet, published. And on the basis of of their presentation, they would sell entire sets of Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita even before they were published. I mean, the books are, such books are so attractive and so important. And of course, as Prabhupada has very historically quoted or mentioned, and we quote him, that these books, these transcendental literatures, especially Srimad Bhagavatam, will be actually the study books for the next 10,000 years, and the historians will make a note of it in the annals of history that these books have changed the history of the world. Actually, this is what these transcendental literatures, including these small books, which were like a whatever you call it, pre-runners to the larger classical books like Srimad Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita. So Prabhupada very much wanted that scientists, coming back to this point he was making in the preface of the book, those who are, of course, Prabhupada did say, anyone who comes to Krishna consciousness, it means that he's very intelligent. Because to understand the basics of what is presented in these books, one has to be intelligent. So our whole mission as devotees and as a society is to actually read these books, distribute these books, study these books, and of course, what's the last one? Live these books. We have to live the content, isn't it? Otherwise it remains what is called simply on the level of knowledge. There is jnanam and vijnanam. Vijnanam, Prabhupada translates sometimes as science. It is actually the practical application of the knowledge that we receive, either from Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam. So this is our great fortune to have these books not only meant for ourselves, but actually meant to be introduced. Someone sent or shared 2 days ago 1896, the actual, it was a postcard written by Kedarnath Dutt, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, before he became known as Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Being an acharya, being a pure devotee of the Lord, he was already seeing what has already or is in the process of taking place all over the world. A whole global transformation is taking place, actually largely, mainly due to these transcendental books. So he was writing at that time to somebody, some chancellor, I think, in Germany, some university in Germany, just like he did for the McGill University in 1896. I think, I'm not sure why, anyways, that year, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur was writing and introducing the life and teachings and precepts of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and it is, of course, by the mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his followers, the Goswamis of Vrindavan, and all the Vaishnavacharyas that have followed since that time. So I'm not sure. Anyways, I made reference to this book, which is something I was supposed to do during part of this class, to highlight the importance actually of reading Srila Prabhupada's transcendental literatures and of doing all of these four things that we're meant to do. Reading the books, studying the books, distributing the books, and also living based on what is given in the books. We have a few minutes for any possible, because I can see the clock, we have 5 minutes. If there's any comment or questions. Yes, who's the runner? Yes. And he is running, slowly running. But,
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you so much for your class. Sometimes we see with certain devotees that false ego really predominates their consciousness.
Isn't it?
Yeah. And so how to advise them in such a way that they can rapidly dissipate that false ego and come to a platform where they're not pushed here and there by their false ego?
It's a very good question, because we often are faced with such a situation, and it is not at all easy to pierce through others' false ego. It is generally recommended to establish a good personal relationship with someone before bringing up the matter of that individual's false ego. Because the false ego is such that it's very deep, very deeply established within our hearts, and and even though one may be practicing Krishna consciousness, one may be caught off guard sometimes. So it's like, that's why there's a general instruction given. Even if you see something that is not, that needs to be corrected in someone, or you want to bring up a subject matter that is maybe delicate, it is generally advised, for devotees not to correct others. If there's some serious matter that needs to be brought up, best it is brought up to someone who's some kind of authority or in a position to bring up the subject matter. So, of course, it is one of the injunctions that is there in the nectar of instruction, to reveal one's mind, to exchange on a personal level amongst devotees. But this can best be done, or it needs to be done very delicately, very carefully, very cautiously. And I would say this element, this aspect of creating, establishing a good rapport, a good relationship. And we were just discussing this point about, the most challenging of all challenges, I would say, for all of us, is in this whole aspect of sambandha, individually and in terms of advancement in spiritual life. Sambandha has to do with our identity. Sambandha has to do with relationships, and relationship is the foundation of whatever will follow. From sambandha comes abhideya and prayojana. So generally speaking, we also should ask permission to someone to talk on maybe on some particular subject matter which might be of a delicate nature. So this aspect of establishing relationship, people who are friends, who have already established a friendly relationship, can more easily exchange on subject matters which otherwise be difficult to take up.
A lot of times when false ego predominates, one becomes disturbed by the dealings of others, kind of that knocks them out of the center of the universe.
By the dealings of others?
Yeah, that knocks them out of the center of the universe, you know, that mood of
Yeah,
I'm the controller, I'm the enjoyer, and who are you to interfere with me in that role?
Yes, yes.
So, but there's one reference where the I can't remember, I've got it written down in an old sloka book, where Prabhupada describes that the process of devotional service dissipates the false ego, dissipates the subtle body, that's how it's described, but it's basically the false ego.
Yes.
So if we can somehow or other accelerate that by maybe focusing on really good japa, something like that, and then it just kind of will more rapidly be on the wayside.
Yes. Yes. I mean, chanting the holy name, performing good japa, which is directly connected with the chanting of the holy name, is very much fundamental for purification. Yeah. Yeah.
But I think if we recognize that that's really what's interfering, you know, if we recognize that it's the false ego that's interfering with our stability mentally, then there's more impetus for us to, you know, go deep in chanting. Say, I got to get out of this prison, mental prison that I've been locked in.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you. Yes, okay, one last quick, yes.
Maharaj, in the translation, it is mentioned that as impelled by the destiny of the jīva. In the translation, it is mentioned as impelled by the destiny of jīva, the false ego, which is of three kinds. So the destiny of jīva is here. Could you please explain a little more?
In the translation, Prabhupada has said destiny of the jīva. So can you explain that? What is this destiny of the jīva?
Oh, well, we're destined to go back home, back to Godhead. But meantime, destiny of the jīva means because the jīva, all living entities have free will, so according to our free will, due to misuse of our free will, here we are in the material world, and we are destined, which is controlled ultimately by Krishna, through his external energy, to get this body, that body, or whatever. So the destiny of the jīva is based on our proper use or misuse of our free will. So we are, based on our activities, we are destined to a better future, or if we engage in sinful activities, if we are not devotees, then we will be destined to continue our suffering in the material world. So the destiny is largely according to what choices we make. Yeah.
There are three kinds of false ego, so that is according to the destiny of the jīva?
Yeah, because we have misused our free will, we have forgotten our position as eternal servants of Krishna, and we get caught up in the whole false ego at different levels, which is a very involved and complex matter. Yeah. Okay. Jai Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Questions may be entertained outside the door.